Ophicleide means keyed serpent. The serpent was an old instrument shaped sort of like a serpent. When they put keys on it, the keyed serpent, so it's an Ophicleide. And of the instruments that you saw there were 9 of them, and they're all the same idea. They're valved instruments like a saxophone, but different sizes, and the different sizes have different names. The smallest one was an E-flat keyed bugle, 2 B-flat keyed bugles, 1 E-flat quintoctave, 2 C Ophicleides, 2 B-flat Ophicleides, and 1 bass Ophicleide. Well, I've played around with it for a couple of years, but that's just the collecting part, to see if we could find some of them and how much they'd cost and could we afford it, and fiddling around with them, but we don't really practice it like we practice another modern horn. Well, we played around with it for several years now. These were built before they invented the piston valve. So that meant they could not, a brass instrument could only play a bugle call, really. It was a bugle. This gave them a way to actually play a chromatic scale, but it's not a very good way. You can see why it became obsolete. It's intriguing, and anybody that first tries one, they know it can't be done. And we have the certain standard jokes like, you see, when the first individual tried to play the Ophicleide, he finally gave up in disgust. He was so disgusted with it that he finally committed suicide, and that was the first Ophicleidicide. No, isn't that awful? The way Jerry Hensley describes it, he said, to play it properly, you have to kill the good notes a little bit to make them. That's not the way to play an instrument. Some of it is to see if you can make it work. And some of the people there were real heroes because they were playing really impossible instruments. The man that was playing the second B-flat keyed bugle, it's set up in the old style. The pads are not like saxophone pads. They're just pieces of leather, so they don't close very carefully. So it's like trying to play a leaking horn. And that's pretty hard to do. So, but he conquered it. He made it work, and it sounded good when he played it. It has a blending effect. And of course the people that are there play other instruments to a point that they know how to play with the other people. But they were fighting the instruments all the way through. And that's part of the fun of it. We are serious about it. We were invited to do some things like this occasionally, but it's still tongue-in-cheek quite a bit too. It was a pleasure.